how to increase productivity and make things more productive, well, I can categorically tell you 80% of our clients, 90% of our clients.
And there is a federal tax and there is a state-based taxes. So, and then people will assume, oh, why would there be a state-based tax, or the rationale behind a state-based tax for businesses. What's your view on those taxes? And then if you can also explain a bit about them as well.
Sure. Again, state-based taxes are very, very fascinating. So they were introduced a number of years ago when effectively the federal tax was brought in and the states handed over that taxing right to the feds, and then they pushed forward. I'm still struggling to wrap my head around which state-based taxes are driving some form of economic efficiency for the state. And an example of it, which I'm quite vocal about, is payroll tax. Mm-hmm. So payroll tax was a post-war tax. It was obviously to generate revenue to repair the states and the countries and the like, and the state and the country. Why should we be taxed as a business for employing people? Fundamentally, what benefit is that? What economic efficiency is that bringing to the state? Payroll tax is now one of the largest state-based revenue raisers. That is why they will not get rid of it, because there is no complement or no replacement income that the state would be able to generate to fill that void. If I'm not mistaken, in WA, we generated $5 billion in payroll tax revenue. So we're not talking a small amount of money. I don't understand why, as a business, I'm penalised, because that's what it is, it's a penalty, of 5.5% for employing people or wanting to increase wages. And if you want to talk about how to increase productivity and make things more productive, well, I can categorically tell you 80% of our clients, 90% of our clients, hesitant to put people on and to build and create their business, because what's the point of doing it if I'm going to pay more tax? Because that's the mentality. Yeah. Why should I grow? Because all I'm going to do is pay more tax. So I don't understand why, and I'm specifically talking about just payroll tax, but I don't understand why these taxes exist.
And one should see these two things in parallel. The R&D tax is you're being given offset because you're trying new things.
Correct.
When you're trying new things, you're either employing or you're trialing new products and all of that.
Correct.
So when you are growing, you are trying new things. You might want to expand another branch.
Yes.
So the rationale probably how it aligns.
Completely different, right? So you're actually incentivized to innovate, right? Yeah. And you know there is a solution to state-based taxes. I believe, which is hand them over to the feds, introduce an increased rate of GST, and introduce some form of the federal land tax or federal tax. It's just across the board tax. Provide that revenue back to the states, and then we might have some form of efficient tax system, because there's a number of different pillars that how tax policy is obviously put together. But again, if we want to talk about addressing what is the biggest issue in this country, not state, in this country at the moment, it's productivity. The current government in power is talking about reintroducing death taxes and introducing a wealth tax and all these other different ideas which aren't addressing the core issue. There was a productivity...
The roundtable,
right? I don't know if you've read, all they were talking about is tax. I'm going, but why? What part of that tax is going to drive or incentivize people to be more productive or to grow? Or we're going to penalise you because you've got too much money in your super. The reason superannuation exists and the reason it's mandatory is so the government doesn't have to pay the pension.
Yeah. That's
why it was introduced, to reduce the government burden to pay people for not working. But now, because you've done too well and you've used it as an investment vehicle, we're going to penalise you for that. I'm dumbfounded.